Welcome back to the Dak Attack Show. Ladies and gentlemen, we finally have word on what's holding up the Dak Prescott and Dallas Cowboys contract negotiations, and honestly, it's kind of surprising. Let's get right into it, but first, a word from our sponsors. BetUS, America's favorite sports book. Be sure to use my link in the description below so you can sign up for BetUS for this upcoming NFL season, so you, as a loyal Dallas Cowboys fan, can bet on Dallas Cowboys games. If you think the Dallas Cowboys offense is going to pick right up where they left off last season and be one of the best scoring offenses in the entire league, you can place a prop bet for the Cowboys scoring the first touchdown at plus 210, or for Butter Aubrey to be the first Cowboy player to put points up on the board at plus 330 for a Cowboys field goal. So be sure to use my link in the description below for some of the fastest payouts in the industry, 125% first time deposit bonus, and again, BetUS is America's favorite sports book, so why not bet on America's team? But now, let's get right back into the video. Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys contract negotiations hold up revealed, written by Josh Sanchez for Dallas Cowboys on Sports Illustrated. Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys are running out of time to reach an agreement on a new deal before the 2024 NFL season. The two sides have reportedly been engaged in discussions, but the clock is ticking for a deal to get done if Jerry Jones and company want the star quarterback to avoid hitting free agency in 2025. As negotiations continue, we are learning what the holdup is with the contract discussions. According to Diana Rossini of The Athletic on her Scoop City podcast, which remember, we know that she's connected with Stephen Jones in some type of way because he did appear on her podcast. So you have to think that she has his contacts or she knows someone that would give her some valid information as it pertains to the situation. She reports the holdup at this point, from what I understand, is about the years the Dallas Cowboys are willing to commit to. She said during the discussion, which begins at the 807 mark, Prescott wants a long-term commitment from the team, while Dallas is debating if they want to keep him with the team longer than 2, 3, 4 years. Prescott is betting on himself as he enters the 2024 NFL season in the final year of his contract. He has a no trade clause, no tag clause, so if no deal is reached, he will hit free agency as an unrestricted free agent, and the only thing the Cowboys really get back in that scenario is a compensatory pick in 2026, y'all. So that's something to really keep an eye on here, and they have an interesting article here that we'll probably check out in a different segment. 3 potential free agent destinations for Dak Prescott in 2025. So be sure to subscribe to the channel if you want to see my reaction to the choices they chose for our boy here, all right? But either way, let's dive into this. First things first, I want to address the whole betting on himself thing because that's getting kind of irritating, the fact that Dak Prescott is the only quarterback in recent memory, the only quarterback, and think about this, before y'all, he does it weird. He's not the only dude who hasn't won. He is not the only dude that has won. In fact, there's only about 4 or 5 dudes actively playing in the NFL that have won. If you're not Patrick Mahomes or Russell Wilson from last decade or Aaron Rodgers or Matthew Stafford, then you need to hush because you haven't won a damn thing either, right? So let's go ahead and get that part out the way. But the fact that Dak Prescott has to have continuously bet on himself when every other quarterback in recent memory, essentially, outside of Lamar Jackson, but that was a slightly different situation, but every other quarterback has not had to do this. No other quarterback has had to play hardball with their organization for another contract. And look, you can say, he's had 8 years to do that about it. He's had 8 years. Hey, man, I don't know where you guys get your football knowledge or your team building knowledge or your knowledge of how things are actually built and how championship organizations are actually run, but you do not rinse, wash, and repeat every 3 seasons if you don't get the desired outcome. Look at the San Francisco 49ers. They have not won a Super Bowl in longer than the Dallas Cowboys. You don't see them trying to rehaul everything every offseason just because. They've essentially kept the same group of guys together and just traded out a quarterback. And the only reason they traded the quarterback is because they were using a backup quarterback as their starter. Jimmy Garoppolo was a backup quarterback. So yes, they did have to kind of look around for a new quarterback, but by and large, teams that consistently compete, they don't make knee-jerk reactions. They don't do knee-jerk changes. And organizations that are grossing the top amount of money in the entire NFL obviously something is going right. Obviously the fans are receptive to whatever product it is that they're being sold, and the Cowboys, as businessmen first, they're gonna think about all that. So with all these things going on, the franchise trending in a positive direction from a financial standpoint, the franchise trending in a positive direction from a competitiveness standpoint, because remember, y'all, before Dak Prescott, the years were up and down, up and down, up. There was no consistent playoff appearances. There was no guarantee that the Cowboys would be a playoff team. But essentially, since Dak Prescott has been here and since he's been healthy, any season he's healthy, the Cowboys are always either in contention for the playoffs, or they make the playoffs, and yes, they have won a couple playoff games. So let's get that out the way. Dak Prescott is not the caliber of quarterback that should continuously have to bet on himself to get his franchise to pay him. And at some point, the human aspect will kick in. And I can completely understand Dak Prescott being like, the hell with this, bro. I've been getting kicked to the side and treated like a stepchild this whole time. To hell with this. Let me finally finish out my career somewhere where the organization, the fan base, the city embraces me, and they actually think that I can be what I think I can be, right? And I'm not saying that it's all Cowboys fans, because clearly we're building up our community over here. You guys enjoy the content, and a lot of you, most of you, the large majority of you are Dak Prescott supporters, right? So obviously it's not the entirety of Cowboys Nation, but I can definitely see the combination of your organization not really backing you up, even when the public is scrutinizing the relationship between yourself and the organization, and then you're having to bet on yourself. And then now it seems like, based off of what Diana Rossini is saying here, it seems like Dak is essentially trying to get a contract that's going to allow him to finish out his career in Dallas. Is going to allow him to essentially ride off into the sunset, or take him into the twilight years of his career at the very minimum here in Dallas. And here's the thing, y'all, we have no clue what Dak Prescott's plans are for his post-playing career. He's been put in situations, and I don't think I've seen many quarterbacks do this, where he's calling plays for the Cowboys and is essentially acting as a faux offensive coordinator. So this is a situation where you have players in place, and remember, the Cowboys have never let any of their other franchise quarterbacks put another jersey on. Troy Aikman didn't, Danny White didn't, none of those guys didn't, Roger Staubach didn't, none of those guys play for other organizations, and it would be a weird time to choose now to break that trend when you have a guy who's the most prolific passer out of pretty much everyone that you have had within your organization. But Dak Prescott seems like he wants a longer deal, and if that's the only holdup, then I absolutely think that this thing is going to end up getting done ultimately, unless Dak is just really like, no, I'm trying to sign my last contract. I'm really trying to sign a 5-6 year contract. Unless that's the situation, I really believe this does end up getting done before the season starts. So within this next week or so, we may see some pretty big news come out about Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys. The one thing that's very encouraging about this is, if the years are the holdup, then that's a very, very good sign. And it's telling me, if the years are the holdup, it's telling me that the actual dollar amount and the other details have seemingly been worked out already. Right, and if Dak wants longer years, then I'm willing to bet the Cowboys are trying to bring down the average number a little bit, and there's just some tussling going on. But those are the latest updates on the Dak Prescott contract negotiation saga. Again, to me, this is a rather positive update, even though it's still letting us know that they haven't completely agreed on anything, or there is a snag. The snag seems like something that should be pretty manageable. If Dak Prescott were to sign for another 2, 3, 4 seasons, whatever it may be, specifically, I would rather see like another 4-year extension, if I'm being completely honest. If Dak were to sign a 4-year extension, that would give the Cowboys time to take a couple more swings at this thing. CD would still be under contract. Micah would be on a fresh contract. You would still have the core of your group. And then by the end of that contract period, if Dak hasn't brought us a championship, or if the Joneses aren't satisfied with what he's been able to do, and he's starting to kind of go on the down slope, because he's going to be like 35, 36 by the time the end of that contract comes around, then we have ourselves in position to draft one of these young studs coming up. Maybe the Cowboys can get their hands on a Arch Manning or somebody to put behind Dak or anybody else and have Dak kind of help develop Arch Manning, because he seems like a very willing teacher, right? So I think Dak Prescott in some type of fashion needs to be involved in the development of the next quarterback for the Cowboys. I'm not saying that I'm ready for another quarterback to be here, but just the kind of player he is and how much investment he gave into Trey Lance, and just the fact that he does seem like the perfect guy to kind of bring along the next dude. I wouldn't be against having an all-pro quarterback help expedite the experience and the process of our new guy that is coming in behind him. I wouldn't be against that at all. I wouldn't be against that at all. And I think that in a perfect world, you sign this contract, Dak gets to finish his career out here. He gets to kind of groom the next guy that's going to take his position. And then we have a quarterback that's been groomed by an all-pro guy, and he can step right in and pretty much not be a huge drop back to where the Cowboys are. And we don't descend back into the dark days of the Quincy Carters and Drew Bledsoes and all those other dudes, right? I think that's, in a perfect world, that's what you want, man. Even if you're someone that's not ready, wanting Dak, I think you should want the next guy to be set up in the best way possible. And regardless of what you may think about what Dak is made of and his metal, being set up in the best way possible is undoubtedly being taught by one of the best classroom students in the entire NFL. One of the best quarterbacks that's playing the quarterback position as a quarterback in the entire NFL. I think that really can't be debated. But that's the latest update on the Dak Prescott contract situation. Again, be sure to check out my link in the description below. Check out BetUS Sportsbook, and shout out to BetUS again for sponsoring this video. We still same old cow.
Calling me, texting me, paging me, asking me, am I still them boys? Y'all usually check on me. Listen. I'm still them boys. Hey! Woo! Oh, shut up, my boy. Hey! I'm still them boys.